I was gone for just 24 hours and the Sussex world turned into a full-blown soap opera. Child, where do I even begin? Meghan's product sold out again. Yes, again. And Hugh Vickers from the Sun exclusive was crying into his tea. Like, this is not the outcome that they wanted, not at all. At this point, should we call Megan's product launches launches? I think we should call them movements at this point. Meanwhile, what did I see happening? King Charles has tiptoed his way into Netflix. And to top it all off, there was a brawl at Royal Ascot. A brawl, yo. We'll get into all of it. But first, welcome to Isabella Banks' YouTube channel. I'm Weezy, your royal shade assassin. It's as always, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys this evening. How are you all doing? How's your weekend going? Tonight we're going to be spilling all the tea, but first, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell. You don't want to miss what I'm about to unpack. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's start with the main event. Megan's as ever restock. Now listen, restocked her sold out products and inventory uh, of 10x was added to what she had before, and she still sold out in less than 4 hours. Not 4 days, 4 hours. There's no business that I can think of that would not be happy with such an outcome. None. There's no way, shape, or form that any reasonable thinking person with a brain would think or consider that in any way to be a failure. That is amazing. Do you know how many people just have 10 products of each of their lines and still can't sell them? Even Megan was gagged. She took to her Instagram stories looking all glowy and humble like, thanking everyone for the love. I mean, sis thought she had planned ahead. She doesn't know the people. She doesn't know the people who are members of her squad. Let me look at your comment. Uh, Lorna says there was somebody in a top hat and underwear running to a van at Royal Sussex today. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a second. The brawl at Royal Ascot. That's so embarrassing. But it's kind of indicative of the leader that of the royal family at the moment, don't you think? Anyway, the squaddies were like, girl, don't you ever underestimate us again. And even one squaddie said, I think she underestimates just how many people out there support her. Megan, you are loved. We will always put our money where our mouth is. I love that. But I loved also the fact that the squad were also teasing Megan as well because they were like, Megan, I think at this point we need you to come correct. Before, let me look at this comment. Hi, Kevin, thank you so much for the super chat. They said the traffic on the site was twice as much as it was last time. That's correct. One supporter said, how cute of Megan to think increasing inventory 10x is enough. Seems she forgot. Only the East Coast was awake last time. She better scale up 50x if she wants her inventory to last longer than one day. She think West Coast squaddies ain't as greedy as us on the East Coast. So it's become an East Coast, West Coast kind of battle on who's going to get the most of the inventory when it becomes available. Megan, what have you started? Megan, what have you started? Don't the royal family wish they had these kind of numbers? Another person said, Megan is experiencing the Megan effect for the second time in 1 year. Now she has to triple what she already doubled. what is most paramount in all of this is that you see genuine connection. It's all love vibes. It's all, you know, giving and taking and supportive. There's no coldness there. There's definitely, you can feel the connection that Megan has with her supporters, which is great. Let me and then, of course, you know that anytime the Sussexes are doing anything positive or there's positive news about them, here come the hating gang as well, coming to give their 2 cents. And I usually don't listen to the other side that much these days, but I thought that this Hugh Vickers or Hugo Vickers, who was speaking on the Sun exclusive, needed to be responded to. So this is my response to him through this video that I'm doing today. Because the man went onto the podcast and said with his whole chest that he wouldn't be tempted to try Megan's wine because he didn't think it would be different from anybody else's. So hold on. I want you to hear by yourselves what he said.
Just released more jam. I guess we wouldn't bother to talk about it. It's very, very hard to know what to say. It's going to be doing all sorts of different things, and even coming out of the kitchen and going into the drawing room or into the world of fashion or goodness knows what. So I guess this is just the latest thing. If you like rosé wine, you probably find that you've got a particular one that you like, and I must admit, I wouldn't be tempted to go for hers. I don't know how hers is going to be so different from anybody else's, or it's probably going to be more expensive because it has a sort of brand on it. So I really, again, find it quite difficult to know what to say. But I guess that she will keep doing more and more things like this. I mean, this is the world into which she's gone. And the other day she was telling us that you win by failing. Apparently, did you hear that one the other day? That was quite interesting. No. Every failure is really a win because then you learn by it. Well, she must have been doing an awful lot of winning recently because quite a lot of the things that she's done have not been wildly successful. Obviously, I'm in no position to judge how well her wine is going to do. The other question is how is hers going to be different from somebody else's? And you see, if you go out into a competitive market like that, I mean, the reason that you and me aren't making rosé is because we don't know how to get into that market, and we don't think we do very well at it, probably. So somebody may well say, well, this rosé is exactly identical to another brand of rosé, and then she'll get into trouble. That sort of thing has already been happening a few times, as you know, when people have said that she's just sort of stuck her name onto their idea. And of course, that can also, to be fair, that can happen accidentally because two people can more or less invent the same thing and discover that somebody else has already done it, and then you're sort of getting onto their territory. That's always rather difficult. You've got to be jolly careful because if you start just sort of taking other people's products and putting your name on it, I'm not saying that she's absolutely exactly done that, but if you do something, even by accident, then you're going to get into trouble because people who are less successful, who selling more or less the same thing as seeing, going out under her. Just released more jam. I guess we wouldn't.
So, do you see how this man, who has no qualifications to talk about marketing or retail, is out here giving his opinions, and he has to double caveat everything he's saying because it's all probably, maybe she might have done XYZ or the other. But regardless, I wouldn't even be interested in what she's talking about. Sir, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. The other week, I actually thought they had gotten the message because there was somebody, I think it was Chris Ship on the Sun, this same platform, who said, well, actually, Megan's baby mama dance video and Meghan's marketing strategy is not geared towards the British audience, which is exactly true. And now she's done a product rollout. You're still talking about, well, I wouldn't get it. She's not selling to you. She's not selling to you. She's all the how many thousand miles away in America? You're here in the UK talking about you're not going to buy something that is being sold in America. Like, the ridiculousness of these people, it just makes me my mind burn sometimes, because I'm like, do you see him twisting himself into a pretzel trying to say, well, uh even if it was wine, then I'm not sure that I would be interested in get nobody asked you. Anyway, I thought that was quite interesting to share that, because now it shows how much they are struggling to maintain the hate narrative. I think, first of all, you have to question, you have to pause here and ask yourself, why is someone who is a royal biographer giving wine reviews anyway? He's out here talking about pricing and quality without even seeing the label or even tasting it. Anyway, it just seems to me like something like the audacity of him thinking that he can do this. It just jumped out and moonwalked. Then he mocked Meghan's comment about winning by failing, a principle which literally every entrepreneur understands. If you've ever had the opportunity to run your own business, you will understand that you might fail a lot of times before you eventually get it right, because there's so many unknowns in business, and some of it you pick up as you go along, and you learn by doing. You learn by doing in the business. It takes a lot to be a runaway success. Most people will literally have had to have run like two or three businesses which fail before they eventually are able to run a business which is successful. This is common knowledge, but Megan cannot say such a thing. How can she? Megan is supposed to be perfect. She's supposed to do everything the first time and get it right. Like their own monarchy is able to do anything and get anything right. He even implied that her ventures have failed. Like, I had to ask myself, are we on the same planet? Because on the planet that I'm on, Megan had a hit Netflix series with Love Megan. It was in the top 10 globally for a couple of weeks, and her As Ever products have sold out twice in a row. This is like a grown man spreading lies like jam. Just embarrassing. Just embarrassing. What really burns me up is when Harry and Meghan do something innovative, right? And then it's called attention seeking. But when the royal family does the exact same thing, it's hailed as tradition or genius PR, or the person involved in this so-called thing that Harry and Meghan have done, which was called attention seeking. Like, for instance, if Harry and Meghan, if Kate wears high heels, it's called revolutionary. Meanwhile, Meghan has worn high heels, and she has worn a particular kind of high heel, which they all copied, and then they praised Kate to the gods just for wearing high heels, or hugging, or holding hands, or being affectionate in public. They say they pan them, they trash them for just doing that normal and natural things. But when they go to do it, oh, it's the most wonderful, genius thing that has ever happened since the beginning of time. Case in point, King Charles is filming a documentary with Netflix to celebrate 50 years of the Prince's Trust. I thought working with Netflix was beneath the crown, but suddenly it's okay now that Chuck is doing it, right? What happened to their selling out for streaming deals? Hmm? The hypocrisy is so loud, I need noise cancelling headphones. Honestly, I do. The hypocrisy is ridiculous. And it's amazing that they feel like nobody is watching them. And that's why they get so bitter with the Sussex squad because we call them out in real time. Anyway, the Daily Beasts never want to not jump in when the people are piling in on Meghan. They jumped in with this headline. They said Meghan Markle's confusing brand is now releasing rosé just in time for summer entertaining. Can you please tell me what's confusing about jam and rosé? I don't get it. Fox News Online said Meghan's chasing fame and fortune. Like, that is a scandal. Sweetie, if it's not true, it, even if it is true that Meghan is chasing fame and fortune, like Cardi B said and did, so is she not supposed to be able to provide for her family? The media is spinning. My theory is that the media is spinning because they're losing their grip. Slowly but surely, Meghan, through her online presence on Instagram and her business, is slowly slipping out of the media's grip. And that's why they're trying to that's why they're trying to invade their charities and their businesses. And with that, I'm thinking of Santa Bale because they can see that Harry and Meghan are getting bigger than them, or they're getting bigger than the opposition towards them. I think is the better way to express that. So they can't shape the narrative any longer. Megan has got her own platform, her own brand, her own receipts, and baby, she is collecting wins like they're infinity stones. And I love it for her. But I have a question. I have a question, and it's a serious one, please. How did King Charles manage to convince Netflix to collaborate with him on this project? Also, guys, don't you think that this is a potential conflict of interest for Netflix? Undoubtedly, it may come to a point where a decision regarding allocation of resources may come up, and then a decision may need to be taken, and then the conflict of interest may definitely become a situation. I hope that they're able to manage having King Charles and the Sussexes on their rota or rota of content creators with Netflix because otherwise this is looking like a mess to me. I wish that they hadn't because there is no advantage to Netflix other than the prestige perhaps of having the king of the United Kingdom on their list of content creators for Netflix. But otherwise, I can't see I don't know anyone who sits down to watch programs that the royal family produce. Their numbers are not significant enough for it to have moved Netflix to risk the goose that lays the golden egg for Netflix. This is the point of view I'm coming from. I can't see why they made this decision. Business wise, it makes no sense. Business wise, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. Why would they do this? Why did they take uh, the royal family on? I know that Prince William was trying to get a show with Netflix at one point in time, but he didn't succeed. So maybe King Charles had to step in, and it is only through King Charles that they've been able to penetrate Netflix. But yeah, to me, this is it's getting messy. And why does the royal family have to go where Harry and Meghan are? If they are content with what they have, why do they need to be where Harry and Meghan are? They've never wanted to do anything with Netflix before now. So why now? Um, Let me look at. Oh, Kevin, thank you again. Why are they so fixated on this woman? Well, they were hoping that the smear that they will be able to knock Meghan down through the smear campaign and reduce them to the position that they wanted Harry and Meghan to be in, which they usually do to all the people who walk away from the royal family. Except they didn't count on a resourceful black woman. And so it was a threat to them that Meghan would succeed, because that means that definitely and for sure, number one, Harry would never come back. Number two, not only will he not come back, he will be successful wherever he is. Number three, they would not be able to get him to do it's like psychological warfare. They, even if they were not able to get Harry to come back, even if he was not successful, as in amazingly successful, well, at least they'll be able to get him like to they'll be able to humiliate him, to knock him down several pegs for daring to step away from the royal family, and not only that, for daring to sue the media, and for daring to stand up for his family and not be subservient in his psychological posture towards the royal family. So, for that reason, they were really hoping that Harry and Meghan would not be successful. But that's not working out so good. Harry and Meghan don't have any reason to come begging the royal family for anything. They were hoping that uh, taking away Harry's security would be the one thing that will make him come hand in with his hand in a bowl and come to the royal family to beg, because security is expensive. So if they're going to maintain their lifestyle, like having the kind of security that they need, then that would have been the thing that would have brought Harry and Meghan running back to the royal family, the way Sophie and Edward did, and the way they did to Princess Diana. But what they are seeing is Harry and Meghan are fighting back. They're fighting back through Harry's work with Invictus Games, with all the businesses that he's involved in, which they don't even know the um, full breadth of. And then Megan as well, being an investor and also running her own business, you know. And they're hoping for a gotcha moment where they can say, oh, like they are, being irresponsible. But every time we see Harry and Meghan, since they stepped away from the royal family, they have been properly dressed. They have been attending responsible meetings. They don't really have anything that they can use against them to knock them down, as apart from this artificial smear campaign. So that is a very long answer to the question you asked, but oh, I could wax lyrical just talking about that, but I think that's a very long answer to the question you asked. Those are part of the reasons why they fixate on her. They're just trying to knock Megan down to make sure that they can knock Harry down and bring them back, knock them to their knees and make them beg the royal family for mercy. But it's not happening. Anyway, while the royal family is busy playing catch up with Harry and Meghan, because we know that they follow Harry and Meghan's footsteps, right? Their true colors slipped out at the Royal Ascot, and not in a good way, baby. There were brawls at the Royal Ascot. And the reason why you have this queen's face out here, let me show you the photograph. Photograph. Yes, that's a photograph of a fight that was happening at Royal Ascot. Public squabbles at a high society horse race. It's unheard of. If you want to see the full video, it's going to be on my Instagram page like 30 minutes after this video is done. Maybe if you're swinging, if you're scrolling on Instagram in about half an hour, you will see the full video on my Instagram account. Um, anyway, the queen will be turning in her grave just knowing that these kind of shenanigans are going on at the Royal Ascot. It's amazing how it seems like Lizzie was even a better disciplinarian than King Charles. Because that woman, it appears that she ruled with a velvet glove and an iron will. She kept the firm in line. We didn't have any of these stories. Oh, it's maybe the thing is that she was better at covering all of this stuff up. I think maybe that might be the truth. Meanwhile, King Charles, let's just say that the royal family right about now is looking more like Real Housewives of Windsor than royal protocol lately. He can't seem to manage his family. Let me look at your comments. Queen says, I sent as ever team a message that I need to do a pre-order. I hope I get an answer too soon. Is that for the wine? You see, you guys in America are getting the benefit of this whole thing. I wonder when we in the UK will have the opportunity. But you know what? I can completely understand the reason why Meghan wouldn't even want to be bothered with the people in the UK when she's not even exhausted the market in America, not to talk about the UK, where if she starts to send products here, they will look for a way to make it be a problem for her business. So I understand that, but just as a squaddy who would really love to buy something, if I'm targeting the shortbreads and the hibiscus tea is supposed to be very good for women, female hygiene problems, if you know what I mean. Um, Queen was asking, what is he saying? Oh, that's Hugh Vickers. He's trying to imply that he's trying to imply that Meghan had nothing to do with the production of the wine and that she just slapped her name onto the bottle of wine. And he thinks that that's a dangerous thing to do. It's called whitelisting. If that is indeed what Megan did, that it's called whitelisting. The scandal of luxury goods that are produced in China should have told everybody that actually this is what happens with retail. Other people produce, perhaps they produce to your own requirements, you slap your name on it and you sell it. That's what happens in the world of retail. If that is what Megan did, it is not unethical because that is exactly what happens. Are they trying to tell me that, for instance, one of the biggest stores in the UK is Tesco's? Are they trying to tell me that Tesco's produces every single thing in the shop that they sell? No, of course they don't. So why then is the bar now higher for Megan? Why does she now have to be the one who produces everything that she sells? You know? Mm, just watch out. You guys just watch out. I'm sure that we're going to see that King Charles or the royal family shops are going to decide to adopt Megan's way of marketing her products. Just watch out. Just watch out. We are going to see the royal family shops marketing their products on social media the same way Megan is doing hers. Just watch out. I'm sure that that is what is coming next. Anyway, guys, I'm so sorry for the awkward introduction to today's live stream. Sometimes I start the live stream and then immediately seven things start to go wrong at the same time. So apologies for the um audio issues at the beginning of the video. Anyway, that's all I have for today's video. It was really just so funny to see the videos with the people brawling. And the people brawling at the Royal Ascot. It was very interesting to hear Hugh Vickers um, talking about Meghan's launch of her wine. They're so pained that not only is she successful selling the products from selling the products that she had, but that she is even thinking about increasing the number of items in her inventory. Why not? Why not? How else is she supposed to earn a living? Is she not supposed to earn a living? I don't understand. Well, I do understand anyway. It's just part of the smear campaign. It's not supposed to make sense. I have to keep reminding myself of that all the time. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for joining me as I think out loud. That's all I have for this evening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, this is Weezy signing out. Ciao.